All right, folks. I'm here. Now, so what's that? 14 people. All right, we need to discuss the in-course test, right? Since I'm already 10 minutes late, I ain't gonna wait. The in-course test is supposed to be next week, Tuesday, but unfortunately, as I had mentioned to you, I am not scheduled to be down there next week, Tuesday. For whatever mix-up, okay? So what is gonna have to happen, therefore, is that the quiz is going to have to be online, right? So I am aware that some of you have still yet to sort out whatever is going on between you and UTech, I don't know. So I am trying to make an alternative available, right? The alternative is called Canvas. And let me show you Canvas real quick. All right. So let me see here. Yeah. So here's Canvas. Okay. It is very, very similar to Schoology, if you know what that is. Either way, I am putting the address in the chat, web address in the chat. And so if you happen to fall, I'll post in, what do you think name? WhatsApp as well.
Sir?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you said it. Is this for the persons who are not able to access Moodle, or this
Or
is
the
for
persons
just
who are not
everybody?
able to access Moodle.
Okay, all right.
I think this is the address of the anatomy part. All right. So I will put a test on here as well as put one on Moodle. Okay. Sorry about that. The pun road from 7 o'clock this morning. Now, the next thing we need to discuss, all right, is when. All right. Now, when I left on Wednesday, one of your compatriots, I can't remember who right now, did point out the fact that, hey, if it is online and y'all have, I'm told y'all have like 4 tests next week, is it possible to do it at a later date than the Tuesday? All right. So fundamentally, that is what we're here to discuss today. So my question to you is, those who are here, can't know anything about those who didn't bother showing up, do you want to do the test later in the week?
No, sir.
All right, I have
No,
one.
sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
By later in the week, I mean over the weekend.
No, sir.
All
No,
right.
sir.
As I
Yes,
said,
sir.
No, sir.
hey,
Yes.
listen, no problem. It's no problem to me, right? So, if so be the case, here is the proposed date and time, and structure of the test. The test is going to be 50 MCQ questions, right? 50. Test 1 will be on, of course, blood, right? Blood clotting, cardiovascular system, which means, of course, structure of the heart, ECG, electrical activity of the heart, which is like atrial node, atrioventricular node, all of those things. It is also going to be on blood vessels, arteries, veins, capillaries, right? Arterioles, venules. You should know the names of the major blood vessels. Then, with regards to lymphatic system, of course, you're going to need to know the major ducts. You're going to need what parts of the body those ducts drain. You're going to need to know the major lymphatic organs and how they contribute to the function of lymphatic system. And by that, I'm talking about your spleen, talking about the thymus gland, right? As the major ones. I'm also, of course, talking about the tonsils. You're going to need to know what these organs do. You're going to also need to know where the lymph nodes, the major clusters of lymph nodes, like the cervical nodes and inguinal nodes and axillary nodes, you're going to need to know where they're located. Okay? All right. Any questions so far? All right. I will post this recording here on the on the website, the YouTube channel afterwards, right? Now, when it comes to respiratory system, you're going to need to, of course, know the major diagrams of respiratory anatomy. And by that, of course, I'm talking about the first one, which is the head and neck, right? As well as the major structures within, like the nasal cavity. So the concha and the meatus and all of these things in there. The positions of your sinuses, the parts of the pharynx, oronasal, laryngeo, pharynx. You're gonna need to know about the larynx and the major cartilages that make up the larynx and their function. You're going to need to know about the muscles associated with the vocal cords and what they do. You're going to need to know what the hyoid bone is and what it's for, where it's found, things like that, okay? Then the trachea, of course. You need to know about the C-shaped rings of cartilage in the trachea and be able to tell me what they're for and why the C shape is found in the orientation it is found in, as in, why is the back of it open and the front of it is closed? So you should be able to explain that to me. You should know the trachea splits at the carina to give two primary bronchi, and the primary bronchi will split to give secondary bronchi, which goes to the lobes of the lungs, and tertiary bronchi, which go to the segments in the lungs. We sat down and we spoke about why it's important that you have this very segmentation now, this very in compartmentalized setup of the lungs. We spoke about infection and how infections have a harder time spreading from one part of the lung tissue to the next because of the compartmentalization, right? You also, of course, need to know about DRG, VRG, apneic center, pneumotaxic center. You need to know what they do. You need to know which respiratory muscles each one impacts for both quiet breathing and forced breathing. You're going to need to know what the lung volumes are. So, expiratory reserve volume, inspiratory reserve volume, vital capacity, tidal volume, all of these things, you're going to need to know what they do. You did them in a lab, but you need to make sure so you know them, right? Then, of course, there's oxygen dissociation curve. That's another must. Impact of temperature, impact of pH on the curve, right? All of that's important. Then the impact of BPG on the curve. Remember BPG, right? you need to be able to explain all of these things. If I give you a diagram of the brain showing you respiratory nuclei, you need to be able to identify DRG, VRG, etc., from a diagram if I give you one. All right. That's a lot I'm asking, right? And I know. And then when it comes now to the urinary system, because we've only done the anatomy aspect of the urinary system, the questions are only going to be on the anatomy aspect of the urinary system. And by that I mean you'll structures. So you might see a kidney internal structure with things labeled in there for you to identify. You might say external kidney, you might say a nephron, and with sections for you to identify. Right? I might ask you, also, I mean, because this is something we did speak about, the effect, the importance of podocytes, why you need them, what is ultrafiltration, because we spoke about ultrafiltration and how the afferent and efferent blood vessels lead to that increase in pressure, right? So everything I'm saying, we've done it before, right? So if there's a problem, please let me know, right? So with all of that together, all that nice juicy information, that is, I will pull 50 questions from that and put them on Moodle and put them on Schoology. All right. Any questions, comments? Anything you want me to look at briefly? Now is a good time for it.
These are on Moodle or on Schoology?
Not Schoology, Moodle.
Okay, sir. And sir, everything that you just said, they're on the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay, sir.
Right? The PowerPoints I've sent you so far, everything I've just mentioned is going to be on them.
And they're all on Moodle.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
and you all sent some of them to the WhatsApp group too, right? So they're there. So it is just a matter of you sorting out the study, right? Now, there are 35 of you now, which is more than half the class. Apparently, the class is around 50, apparently. Who knew? I didn't. So that's 2/3 of the class. So the consensus is to have the test on Tuesday in the normal time, which means I will open the test on Moodle Tuesday, 2 p.m. Right? And since it's 50 MCQ questions, it means the test will last for 1 hour. So 50 questions, 1 hour. Take about 1 hour, a minute and 10 seconds each question. Something, or at least somewhere near there, right? Which is
Sir,
quite
can
a
you,
lot of time.
sir, 50 questions, 1 hour? You can give us an hour and a half, sir.
My dear, I'm supposed to give you 50 minutes, maybe 60, right? Because university standard all over the world is a minute per multiple choice. You get a minute plus. Right? I can't only do so much, right? So with that said, I will say this. More likely than not, the bulk of the questions will come from the cardiovascular system. Because of course, it is the biggest one we've looked at, right? So realistically, you can expect probably 25 of the other 50 questions to come from this alone. Somebody has their hand up? Oh, I guess not. All right. So cardiovascular system, which of course includes blood, expect like 25 questions from this one. Right? Lymphatic, probably around 5-6 questions. Anatomy, probably another 5-6 questions. And the rest would be respiratory. Right? Maybe, realistically, maybe close to 20 cardiovascular and probably about 15 respiratory. That's what 35. And then the other two now will take up the rest of it. That I think is a more reasonable think so. Right? So think 20
What are the lymphatic
cardiovascular,
and
15 respiratory, and then the other two are would be divided up now in the urinary and the lymphatic. So of course it means that cardiovascular and respiratory are by far the biggest topics, right? So that's where you should spend the bulk of your time. At least that's my opinion. All right. Any comments?
Excuse me, sir. Do
Yes.
you have any idea of how the test will be set up for the Papine campus?
Sure. What would you like to know?
The topics, is it the same as what you just stated before?
Pretty much. Though
Alright.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, it should be, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Though I think their thing is half essay and half MCQ.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sir, some persons just joined from the Papine campus. I don't know if it's possible for you to repeat some of the topics that were stated before, or if this recording will be posted on
Yeah, I'm putting it up on YouTube right after.
Okay.
So, right. So, as I said to you, remember, this is for the Mobi people. There will be urinary on it, but it's only going to be the structural aspect of urinary, right? For the Papine campus, understand that the Mobi guys are getting a full MCQ one. That is because of some scheduling issues, right? So this has to be online. But yours is gonna be in person, and I do believe it is either 50% structured questions or 40%. I don't quite remember. But there's gonna be a big chunk of it which is structured / essay type questions, right? I will have to ask your lecturer if she's adding urinary system to it. But it's a possibility. Right? It's a possibility. But either way, the bulk of the test is still gonna have to be the cardiovascular system and the respiratory system with skin and lymphatic hemiskin, with lymphatic system bringing up a distant third place. And if there's urinary questions, there will not be a whole lot of them either, right? So study cardiovascular, respiratory the most, right? So blood, don't forget, blood includes things like blood typing, right? You'll be asked questions about how the blood typing tests work and why it works, which means you have to talk about antibodies and antigens and all kind of things, right? In terms of short answer questions. A common way to write a short answer question for this is simply to say, like, Mary was hit by a car, she's rushed to the hospital. She has been given O positive blood, and her blood type is O negative. What, if any, issues could she potentially develop? So that would be an example of a short answer question. That one is probably somewhere between around 3-ish marks for that. Because, or 3 to 4 marks, really. Because you'd have to talk about the antigen-antibody interactions. You have to talk about the formation of the agglutinates and how the agglutinates would potentially block blood vessels and how that can lead to strokes and pulmonary embolism and all of that stuff, right? As an example of a short answer question. Respiratory short answer question. Pneumothorax comes up quite a bit because it's easy to write that one, right? But another one, for example, could be asking, and I remember one year we did this one about people hiking to the top of Mount Everest. And why is it that when hikers get near the top of Mount Everest, they have to use breathing apparatus to help them to breathe? And why is it that their breathing rate increases rapidly and the depth of breathing increases as well, but they feel fatigued, right? So think about that question like that. That kind of question, of course, is an analysis type question, right? So you're going to the top of Mount Everest, all of a sudden you feel tired, you're breathing hard. What's going on? That is when you have to say to yourself, okay, you're breathing hard and you feel tired. What do you need to feel energy? You need ATP to feel energy. What do you need to make ATP? You need oxygen. All right. You're tired and you're trying to breathe, which means that you're trying to get in oxygen. So hence, there must be less oxygen available high up the mountain, right? Which is of course true. The higher up you go, the thinner the atmosphere is, right? And then you can, from that now, you can work out the rest of it, you know? So you can think of questions kind of like that. Could potentially show up on your essay/short answer section, right? And guys, please remember that your final exam is 30% essay type questions, right? As it's pretty much 3 questions for essay, and you will choose 2 of 3 to do, okay? And this is for both campuses. All right, I've chatted on quite a bit. Any questions so far? Everybody is okay. All right, as they say, silence is permission, right? Now, so just to make sure we're all in agreement, next week Tuesday, 2 p.m. on Moodle mostly, right? 1 hour, all MCQ, you get 50 of them. Go ahead. Okay. Mostly cardiovascular and respiratory, but of course still containing, I see a hand up. Yes. Go ahead, Daniel.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
when you open it at 2, will it close in 1 hour time, or how long before it close?
Normally you give 10 minutes, right? So if you open it at 2, it stays open until 3:10. So if somebody logs in a bit late, it's no big deal, right? But it's
Okay,
not
I have
gonna-
another question, but it's when class is over here, I want to speak to you.
All right, no problem.
Mm.
So for those who are going to be having issue with Moodle, try to log in to Canvas. Try to get the Canvas information. If you are not able to do so, or there's a problem, you need to let me know by Monday, right? So that we can at least try to see if we can figure something out. Anyway, so we leave that. Now, okay, Daniel, hand is still up. All right. Now, what happens if you miss the test? If for whatever reason you miss the test, then based on our policy, assuming you missed the test for a reason that is valid and provable, right? You notice those 2 terms, valid and provable, then a potential supplemental test can be generated, but it will be in the form of 4 essay questions, right? Because we can't write 50 MCQ questions for 1 or 2 people. So if you miss the test, you're coming back to 4 essay questions, right? So try not to miss the test. If something happens during the test and I get locked out, I don't even know how to unlock it from Moodle, but I'll see if it's possible. If not, then 4 essay questions. There's not much we can do about that, right? So just try to be someplace with stable Wi-Fi. I'm sure stable UTech Wi-Fi is down there, but I have my doubts. But I see you guys have done tests online already, so you should have some idea, right? All right, it's 4:50 now, so we don't have any time to really do anything else. But any questions before I let you go? All right, so once this video processes, I upload it to the YouTube channel, and I will send out a general reminder on Monday about your in-course for Tuesday in the WhatsApp group. You know, just in case stress has made you forget the date. So remember, you all chose Tuesday, 2 p.m., right? So I don't want anybody to call my name. Keep in mind, right? All right, if there's no further questions, we'll stop here. Oh wait, that's something in the chat. All right, cool. That was just a yes. Excellent. So we stop here.
Sir?
And yes,
For the urinary system that you have posted on your YouTube channel, those slides that you were using is on Moodle?
oh crosses, I knew I forgot something. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now as we speak. Because I was supposed to put them up. And I, of course, found a million other things to do instead. So yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. As I'm talking to you now, I'm trying to do it.
Sir, will you be having
Okay.
will you be having lab session next week or no?
Yes, that's another good question. Here's the thing. Next week's labs in Kingston, they're going to be the electrolytes. Right? That's because the in town lecturer is having some issues. So they will be missing class Monday, Tuesday. So it's all right, let everybody do the electrolytes, right? Electrolytes is basically a worksheet. And we haven't even started it yet. So what I would advise you, and I will put up the electrolytes PowerPoint presentation as well. But fundamentally, all you're doing is completing the worksheet, which means we don't really have to meet. Right? Just be aware that it needs to be done so that when I get down there, hopefully the following week, we can sort out whatever else we need to sort out. I haven't signed a single book. I need to sign some books. Right?
So you're going to get any more from Montego Bay?
Yeah, man, I'm supposed to be carrying down another 10 books.
Okay, so
So as I said, just give me a second here. I am going to upload the thing as we speak. Y'all remember what slide I went up to, right? Or should we go back through that again real quick?
Let's go through it, sir. Let's do
All right.
that.
Just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Give me 1 second and let me bring it up. I think about the slide 30. Sorry, folks, give me 1 quick second, please. All right, so urinary system MOBE is there. So yeah, so you have that one now. Yeah, it was actually there from before. Who knew? So you have it now in case you didn't have it before, right? So go through it. As I said to you, I think we'll stop at slide 29 or 30. But let me make sure. I don't want to be a liar here. Yeah, we stopped at slide 30. All right. So everything
one
up
more
to
thing.
including that. Yeah, go ahead.
You don't have any past papers?
Past papers, that not gonna help you. We're not gonna reuse any of those questions.
All right.
Sir, it
This is
was
not
29.
CSEC. Past
Can you
gonna
stop?
really help. But
Here, sir?
yeah, no, I'm saying that as I said, this is not CSEC. Past papers don't really help that much. But I will say that we do tend to pull questions from the tutorials that we give you. Right? Have I given you a respiratory tutorial yet? I don't even remember. I said lymph there.
Yes, sir. It's here.
And the respiratory one is there. All right, I'm going to upload the urinary tutorial right now. So just to give you help to guide you there.
Sir, Papine Campus also has access to everything you're uploading, right?
Yeah, it's in the same Moodle, it's just on the Mobi.
Okay.
Let me see if all right, I'm gonna try and see if I can find. I should have a copy of the urinary tutorial with answered questions. I think that would probably be most useful to you right now, right? And yeah, I will be drawing some questions from the tutorials. Normally I draw between 20 or 30% of my questions from the tutorial questions. Obviously, I'm not saying it's gonna be all of them, but you know, usually somewhere in that region. And you can expect probably about 10 diagram-based questions, right? So around 10 questions that would have something to do with some kind of diagram that you would have come across in your work, right? Either in the lab stuff you did or in the PowerPoint presentation, but something like that, right? So please keep that in mind as well, right? All right, I have a tutorial here with some answers on there. All right. So whenever you get a chance, have a look through that as well for me. The answer should be there. There are a few short answer questions there as well. So that might be useful for the Papine people who are doing will be doing short answer questions, right? All right. It's 4:57. So I guess we'll call it a day. Somebody said they wanted to talk to me, right? I don't know if they're still here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna pause recording now.